What's up? So let me talk one, two, three. A big move for the Phillies. I characterize as big as this is exactly what this team needed to get done to start off the offseason. Jim Thome, a long time Philly, 2003 to 2006. Well, I guess a more longer time Cleveland Indian, but he really liked playing in Philadelphia. Hit 93 home runs there. Monster numbers. Ryan Howard comes in, hits like 24 home runs in like 80 games, and they trade Jim Thome and they keep Howard. Now, it's kind of ironic. He gets traded because Howard was available, and now Howard is hurt, so he is signed back. Um, had he put up solid numbers last year. Whether they're going to use him as a pinch hitter or for the first part of the season, a first baseman, because Ryan Howard, we really don't know how long he will be out because of his injury. So obviously, a really disappointing year last year for the Phillies. They set the record for regular season wins, so I guess it's not a waste of a year. Obviously, probably had a lot of fun victories. But the whole point of the year is, when you get in the playoffs, you want to play well. You want to feel like, you left everything on the field. And the Phillies might be able to feel that way, but at the end of the day, they still lost. And this year, it was the Cardinals' year. I mean, they came in there, tremendous momentum, and they beat the Phillies in 5 games. Is David versus Goliath, and the Phillies were definitely Goliath. And the Cardinals came in there, down to a game from losing. They won Game 4 in St. Louis, and then they win Game 5. It's one of the best games I think ever played. That Game 5, Roy Halladay versus Chris Carpenter, such a great matchup, and for the Cardinals to win 1-0, absolutely incredible. So, Phillies, I feel for you, it'd be very disappointing. But I mean, the Phillies, they've had a huge era this last few years. I think for them to only win the World Series once out of those like 4 or 5 years where they've been, the best or second best team in baseball, a little disappointing. But I think that this year's probably been the most disappointing. The fact that they led baseball in wins and they lost in the first series. But again, it shows that it's not the best. It's not the team with the best record. It's the team that plays the best in the playoffs. So you can't undermine that, and that will stay for a long time. So the Phillies are defeated last year. Disappointing, obviously. Ryan Howard on the last play of the season, he injures himself and surgery, all this stuff. We don't know how long he's going to be. So they signed Jim Thome, who had a really solid year again last year. 15 home runs. He got his 600th home run. He has 605 career home runs. Will he get to 700? That seems a little steep right now, but a few more years after that, and he might get there. I think he will definitely start off the year at first base if he's not playing the field like well enough, or if he gets hurt. Then he'll definitely move into a pinch hitting. But who wouldn't like a power left-handed hitting pinch hitter off of the bench? A very valuable addition, obviously. And I think if he were to sign with any other team, he would probably raise the price and say, I'll sign with you maybe for $2.5 million. Since it is the Phillies, they do get a team-friendly contract, $1.2 million, and I think he's going to be worth every penny, really. I mean, this guy's going to hit some home runs, hit 15 last year. His average is definitely going to be a little. I mean, he's low, but he's never been an average guy. It's been power, and he has tremendous power. So he goes back to the Phillies. He loves playing in Philadelphia, and I think they'll have a good year next year. Looking at the Phillies right now, I read the Hot Stove ranks the Cardinals as the team to beat next year. I don't want to be in the position as a team to beat. I'd rather be an underdog. The fact that the Cardinals weren't even expected to finish in the top 3 of their division last year, or for this year's predictions, and they ended up winning the World Series. ESPN doesn't get that stuff right. So I know that the Cardinals are placed above Philly in that, but I'm not exactly sure if the Cardinals will play better than Philly, and don't look for the Cardinals to repeat a World Series. They do have a lot of exciting players, young guys, David Freese, Alan Craig, that I'm very excited about. And if we, tap into the free agent market or trade market, if we don't sign Pujols, look for him to get creative in the trade market and then maybe sign a free agent like Kelly Johnson, maybe go after a guy like Jose Reyes. But to me, he's kind of too injury prone. I'd rather see an up the middle of Kelly Johnson and Rafael Furcal than, I can't say then Jose Reyes and Skip Schumacher. But I would love to see Jose Reyes, obviously, but a huge contract does scare me a little bit. And I really want to see if Pujols leaves. I would like a lineup with Matt Holliday in the 3 spot. The lineup, Matt Holliday has a better on-base percentage, so it makes more sense to put him in the 2 or 3 spot anyway. But, Pool's always 3 spot. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about the Cardinals. I should be talking about the Phillies. Look for them to have a good season next year. Hopefully, Chase Utley for them can bounce back. Jimmy Rollins, we'll see what happens there. Ryan Madson, we'll see what happens there. Roy Oswalt, the Washington Nationals have interest in him. I could see the Nationals signing Oswalt. It makes total sense for the Nationals. It'd be a great sign for the Nationals, honestly. The Phillies, they have Vance Worley, so I don't really look for them to really go all in on a guy like Roy Oswalt. I know they kind of went all in for a trade for him, but they ended up, those prospects haven't really turned out yet, and the Phillies just got better from that move. So we'll see what happens. Hunter Penn's definitely going to be an improvement next year for the first half of the season of offense. Before they got him, and struggling a little bit on offense. So he'll be great next year for a full season. Expect good things from this team. This team is not dead yet. They have some old guys and aging players, but I think if they get creative in the trade market this year, in this offseason, and get Ryan Madson back and maybe Jimmy Rollins, or instead of signing Jimmy Rollins, somehow work out contracts where they're able to afford a guy like Jose Reyes, this team will look a lot better. But really, their priorities right now are signing the guys they need to sign, because if they don't get Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Madson, this team looks totally different, and they're going to have to start, not from scratch, but they're definitely going to have to start from bottom up to improve those positions. Those are very important guys for them, and they got to do everything they possibly can to keep those guys. Again, if they're not able to keep Jimmy Rollins, I could see a trade with Boston for a guy like Jed Lowry, or if Boston would rather keep Jed Lowry, a guy like Marco Scudero. Someone around there, they might trade with Texas, try to get a guy like Elvis Andrus, since Texas does have Profar, a really top prospect, shortstop, or they might try to get him. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Very interesting offseason for a lot of teams, including the Phillies. Thanks for watching. Let me talk 1, 2, 3. The Phillies signed Jim Thome today. Thanks for watching.